Over the next several years, or several months, it seems like years, over the next several months, the Council will pore over his proposal to ensure that it aligns with our priorities and those of the residents of St. Paul. This process can be long and grueling, particularly in a year when the city is challenged with an economic recession and unallotments from the state. However, it is absolutely necessary to make sure that we can look to the future with certainty and confidence. The work that the mayor and his administration have undertaken and the work yet to come by the City Council will build upon the strong foundation and ensure that when the economic tide turns, St. Paul will be poised to prosper and will continue to be the city we all know and love. So let's get started. It's my pleasure to introduce Christopher B. Coleman, Mayor of the City of St. Paul.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful setting to be in this afternoon. Kathy, I want to thank you once again for your incredible leadership and everything that you have done. You have not only been a colleague, but a good friend, and I've appreciated our working relationship over these last several years. I want to thank all of our friends at Cray Plaza for their willingness to host us here this afternoon. And also to thank Loto for providing refreshments afterwards, and I hope that you all join us as soon as I get done. I'll try to be quick so that we don't stand between ourselves and our hunger attack. You know, putting a budget together, it is, to say it's no small task is an understatement. This is a tremendous, tremendous amount of work that goes into this, and especially over this year with the challenges that we've faced. We've really been working on this budget probably since October of last year, when the magnitude of the state challenges was made apparent to us. So I want to give especially thank Margaret Kelly and all of her incredible staff at OFS, Office of Financial Services, for the amount of work that they put into this, to take all of that discussion, all of the debate, all of the work with the department directors, and actually condense it down into a budget that is balanced. But I also want to thank my incredible Deputy Mayor, Ann Mulholland, for the work that she has put into this. She has put tireless amounts of effort into this whole process, and we arrived today at a balanced budget for 2010. So join me in thanking all of those folks that have worked so hard. You know, there's never enough time in these speeches to thank all the partners and all the folks from across the city of St. Paul that I want to thank. So I have to give just kind of a blanket, you know who you are. But more importantly, I know who you all are. I know the people that have come to the table, that have worked with us across the city, that have rolled up their sleeves, helped us solve problems, helped us look at other ways of doing things. And I can't thank you enough for your continued commitment to the city of St. Paul. But there's one group of people that I want to stand here today and thank from the bottom of my heart. That's our city employees. Last night I was out at a restaurant out on Selby Avenue, and the business owners and the community members along Selby Avenue were throwing a party for our city employees that worked with them through the reconstruction of Selby Avenue, to thank them for the incredible work that they put into that construction process, for standing with them every step of the way, to understand the challenges that the businesses and the residents along that avenue would face, and worked with them. Think about the statement that made when our business owners thanked our public works employees and other city employees for the incredible work that they did in construction of that project. We've come a long ways from when they were throwing muffins at our employees. We're also here today to celebrate Cray coming to the city of St. Paul. And that was in no small part because of the incredible effort of Cecile Bedore and her staff in the Planning and Economic Development Department. They worked tirelessly to make sure that this deal came together. They worked very, very hard, and I want to thank them for their efforts. You know, it seems like every year we ask our city employees to do more with less. We ask them to provide excellent services for our residents and our citizens without complaining, and they do it every step of the way. They wouldn't allow us to diminish city services. It's not in their nature. I'm honored to work with such an extraordinary group of individuals, and I want to thank you. You know, it's incredible to be here looking out over Mears Park. I get to look out kind of over Mears Park. And what it reminds me of was a couple of weeks ago, the opening night of the Jazz Festival. You know, I've lived in St. Paul all my life, and I don't know that I have ever been prouder or more excited for the future of our city than I was that opening night. I got to bartend at Barrio, which was great. It was kind of one for you, one for me, so it was a perfect evening. We were joining with Barrio, the folks that were pouring into Bulldog and the 12 restaurants and bars that have opened up in downtown St. Paul to enjoy world-class musicians, great camaraderie, people coming to the city. Over the next couple of nights, there were 5,000 people on Friday night and 5,000 people on Saturday night. Some people heard the story of Prince circling the Mears Park all night long, deciding whether or not he would get out of the car. Actually, he never did, but that's okay. He was there, and that's the important thing. But it really reminded me of the incredible, incredible things that we have built over the years. It was really a wonderful, magical moment in the city of St. Paul. But you know, as wonderful as that is, and as hopeful as I am for the city of St. Paul, I am reminded on occasion of the challenges that we face. Sometimes the budget just becomes numbers on a piece of paper. Sometimes we're shielded from the real challenges that families are facing in the worst economic situation since the Great Depression. That moment was really driven home to me one day. There was a group of third graders that came into the council chambers. Must have been about 60 or 70 young kids. And, you know, I get the typical questions of, do you drive a limousine? Hardly. Are you rich? I wish. What do you actually do for a living? Too hard to explain. But there was one young boy that sat in the front row. This cute, kind of blonde-haired, big glasses. And he looked up at me and raised his hand. And when I called on him, he said, my mom and dad have both lost their job. And we're afraid that we're not going to be able to keep our house. What can you do for me? What can you do for my mom and dad? The honesty and the heartache in that young kid's voice took my breath away. It reminded me that what we do in the city matters. What we do every day on mortgage foreclosure prevention or after-school programming, around workforce development, or the 1,000 ways that we help families in this community matter more today than ever before. We have to rededicate ourselves every day to working on behalf of that young man's family and families across the city of St. Paul. The nature of our work is all around us. Today, I chose this space to celebrate the commitment of Cray to come to the city of St. Paul. I'd like to welcome Linda Howitson, the Vice President of Human Resources for Cray, who joins us today. Thank you, and thank you for all your employees that will soon be occupying this incredible space. This was a victory that had many fathers. I mentioned Cecile Bedore and her incredible staff, but this job couldn't have gotten done without the incredible work of John Lebowski and the Capital City Partnership for making this deal happen. John, thank you, and for everyone that has played a role in this. I was going to thank Dave Thune and the HRA, but he's up at his cabin, and I figured to heck with him. I'm not going to thank him. But Cray today joins not only brings their 230 employees or so, but they join Microsoft, IBS, AECom, and Gov Delivery among just the few of the new businesses and old established businesses that are creating hundreds of jobs in the core of downtown St. Paul, amidst one of the most beautiful urban cores in the entire country. It's a downtown that's been shaped by a mix of housing, jobs, parks, entertainment, and connected to one of the world's greatest rivers. Upstairs in this building is a unique nonprofit, Genesis Works, where high school students are trained in the IT services needed in large corporations. They'll spend their senior years working part-time in one of those corporations, creating a new future for themselves and for their families. In a couple of weeks, Concrete and Grass will be in Mears Park, a unique festival marking the opening of the chamber orchestra season that will bring thousands more people to enjoy this incredible neighborhood. And just a block away, soon the Central Corridor will connect these businesses with a host of terrific neighborhoods across St. Paul. And eventually, as the hub of the regional transit system, Union Depot will connect us with other regional centers all along a high-speed rail corridor to Chicago. When I came into office 3.5 years ago, we were facing a myriad of challenges. A huge structural deficit coupled with drastic state cuts and early signs of a withering national economy left us facing a crisis that threatened St. Paul's future. Looking back, it was not hard to see this perfect storm of economic pressures as an out-of-control 18-wheeler coming straight at us. We knew we had three choices. We could have been run over. No one would have blamed us if we had looked at our quickly declining revenues and decided to propose a slash-and-burn budget that compromised the city of St. Paul and the city that we love. We could have jumped out of the way and let the truck hit our kids coming behind us. Let me just tell you, there are hundreds of ways that we could have pushed this problem off into the future. We could have sent a message to the community, you know, if we just hang on one more year, we'll get through this problem. But we've seen this happen time and time again at the state and the national level. Pushing the problem to the future is bad policy, and everyone knows it. Shirking our responsibility is not an option for the city of St. Paul. So we took a third way. We decided to push back. We met our challenges head on. We made a decision that this is the time and this is the place to create a new future for the city of St. Paul. A future that depends on us using the full force of this community to stop this crisis in its tracks and redirect the course of history. The budget I present today reflects the principles we laid out in 2006. We will deliver a better service at a better price. That means that we commit ourselves to the ongoing reform of city services to ensure that every nickel we spend provides value to the people of the city of St. Paul. Second, the credit card remains locked in the drawer. We won't balance the budget by shifting current obligations to future years. Third, we'll continue to make critical long-term investments that can sustain St. Paul well into the future. Investments that reflect our values, provide our children with a bright future, protect our environment, provide new good jobs for our residents. Here are the basics. I propose for 2010 an actual reduction in spending over the 2009 budget. We're reducing spending for the first time since 2004. We'll have 121 fewer positions in 2010 than we had in 2009. While most of these reductions will occur through attrition and normal staff turnover, there may be as many as 45 layoffs at the beginning of next year. We're continuing to be honest about the cost of services that we provide. I'm proposing a $5.3 million increase in the levy, which is a 6% increase in the city's portion of the property tax. I'm also proposing a 6.8% increase in the right-of-way assessment and similar increases in the water and sewer fees. This increase will be the smallest increase in the 4 years that I've been mayor. It makes up less than half of the cuts that we received when the governor cut local government aid to the city of St. Paul. But reducing the size of the city government is not the same as reforming it. It's not our goal to just simply gut city services or deny the responsibility that city government has to provide for the common good. Our goal is to work together and with our employees and partners to serve the city of St. Paul through these tough times. Public safety continues to be our highest priority. Our 2010 budget puts 34 new police officers and 18 new firefighters on the streets. It's an investment that's made possible by President Obama's commitment to cities across this nation. It has made a huge difference to have a partner in the White House. But the $7.5 million COP and JAG grants that will support the 34 police officers for the next 3 years is not a handout or simply a chance to plug a gap, nor is our SAFER grant that was secured by our fire department. We were in a position to apply for these funds and receive them because we have worked very, very hard to reform how we do business in the city. We continue to implement the recommendations called for by the audit of the St. Paul Fire Department, focusing on meeting the rising demand for emergency medical service while continuing to be a model for professional fire suppression. This budget provides for the last of the 3 super medic rigs in the city of St. Paul. It was the strength of our commitment to community policing that allowed us to receive the $6.1 million federal grant for police officers in the city. We continue to work hard to reduce domestic violence in our community. Bridges to Safety served over 1,000 people in its first year. Women and children throughout St. Paul are safer today because we are doing things differently. We've said enough to gangs and violence that bring fear to our neighborhoods. Our responses, ranging from civil injunctions to expanded mentoring, all have one message. We value the children and the young people of this community, and we will do everything to stop those things that undermine their incredible potential. I want to thank Chief Harrington, Chief Butler, and all the men and women of our fire and police departments for their incredible work and commitment to the city of St. Paul every day. You know, our great Parks and Rec department continues to face challenges. 2010 won't be any different. Deteriorating facilities and dwindling resources left us in a difficult situation that required innovative thinking and a new approach to serving the community. First under Bob Bierscheid and now under Mike Hom, the leadership of the department has met the challenge head-on. By leveraging long-standing partnerships and forging new ones, we didn't just simply shutter our buildings and walk away from our responsibility. Today, Denoyer Park is bustling with a kids' park after-school drop-in center. St. Clair is being used as an after-school daycare program. The Orchard Rec Center is now the Blackhawk Soccer Center, and offers year-round skill development, training, and space for pickup games. Where our budget had only allowed a skeletal staff to open and manage these buildings, the community is now using these facilities eagerly and often. Next year, we'll continue this approach. Take 8 additional rec centers, 3 Front, Sylvan, and Prosperity, where the buildings are in such poor condition they really have to be torn down. We'll improve the ball fields, construct new restrooms, and make these places better for our kids to play and to learn. At 5 other centers, Baker, Griggs, Margaret, South St. Anthony, and Wilder, we'll look for community partners to run the existing buildings and better serve the community. We'll also continue to leverage and take advantage of the opportunity to save money by saving energy. We've invested over $150,000 in energy improvements at Linwood and Langford Recreation Centers, Como Lakeside Pavilion, and Phelan Clubhouse. Improvements that will pay for themselves in less than 3 years. Finally, we are taking the next steps to acquire land in the Bruce Vento Nature Sanctuary and the Trillium site, as well as to connect the final portions of the Grand Round. All legacy investments in a world-class park system. Libraries, the backbone of our community. Though I'll formally share my library budget next week, I'm proud to announce that all of our libraries will remain open next year. Unfortunately, given our challenges, we won't be able to continue the expansion of library hours as we have in the past. But we're committed to ensuring that all of our residents have access to an open library 7 days a week. And we'll make every effort to work with those unique communities to make sure that their library serves their needs. We'll continue to work to provide the best services by cutting our backroom operations by 1/3. This will allow us to shift the focus to direct customer service while maintaining our excellent collection. After a long and interesting conversation with the residents around the Hamlin Library, we are going to keep that facility open. But I'm hoping that in the coming months we will continue our great dialogue to establish new partnerships to enhance the quality of the service to residents in the Hamlin Midway neighborhood. I want to thank Councilmember Stark and all those that have served on the Library Task Force who have worked so diligently to find a solution to that challenge before us. I also want to thank our new Library Director, Kit Hadley. Kit's enthusiasm for the work of libraries is infectious, to say the least. I'm confident that with our Library Board Chair, Pat Harris, our extraordinary library staff, the Friends of the Library, and communities throughout the City of St. Paul, we will continue to improve and enhance the quality of libraries in the City of St. Paul. Throughout the city, cost reductions will take a variety of forms. Some departments like Human Resources, Financial Services, and the Office of Technology and Communications will be making staff reductions. In my office, we eliminated 2 positions earlier this year, and my staff and I have taken an 8.5% decrease in our pay. These are actions that will continue to yield dividends into the future. Other departments are taking innovative approaches. In the Department of Safety and Inspections, a number of staff have chosen to work 32 hours in order to preserve the jobs of their colleagues. It's a profound showing of solidarity and sacrifice, and an example of the caliber of our employees in this city. 2 years ago, we combined functions from 3 departments into the Department of Human Rights and Equal Economic Opportunity. After years of debate, we are beginning to bring together critical functions under one roof. And as a result, we have streamlined functions, saved money, and extended economic opportunity throughout the City of St. Paul. By any measure, our director, Luz Maria Frias, and her team have outpaced our expectations. In just a few short months, they have launched a series of initiatives that are making a real difference in our community. Just this week, they announced the Architectural and Engineering Partnership Program, focused on building capacity within small, women, and minority-owned firms in the field. And soon, we will graduate 40 students out of the Emergency Medical Services Academy, an innovative program to introduce young men and women of color to the possibility of a career in emergency medical care. These are small but powerful examples of the kind of system change that can come out of our commitment to working smarter and investing in our values. I want to thank Councilmember Carter for his incredible effort in leading this new development, but I particularly want to thank Luz Frias for her incredible work in getting this department up and running. Thank you, Luz. On the environmental front, our investments in an energy coordinator and a water resources coordinator and the $1 million we invested in an energy conservation investment fund are yielding big results. We've leveraged the $3 million federal investment through the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, as well as the Department of Energy's Solar America Cities Grant. With those funds, we anticipate energy savings at 10 to 20% in our buildings and expanded use of renewable energy. Xcel Energy has stepped up to further improve efficiency, supporting wide-scale initiatives along the Central Corridor and the development of alternative energy sources. And a national foundation, Living Cities, has stepped forward to support our efforts in conjunction with Minneapolis around energy retrofits. Our work on protecting the environment is just one example of the wise investments we are making today to provide financial stability for the future. A leader in this effort has been Councilmember Helgen, and I want to thank him for his continued efforts on behalf of the City of St. Paul and our future. COMET, one of those words that I can't really tell you off the top of my head what it stands for. But it stands for City Operations Modernization and Enterprise Transformation. What this means is that in 2010, the City of St. Paul will move into the 21st century. I know it's a big, scary step for us, but we have to do it. Simply put, our operations are inefficient. Day-to-day, managers and department directors are in the dark, with no real-time financial information on such things as payroll, spending, or how much the city is paying for paper clips or toilet paper. This lack of information results in missed opportunities to improve service delivery. That stops now. In partnership with the City Council and with our own Lawson software, the City of St. Paul has embarked on an ambitious work program that will lead to a return on the city's investment in just 3 years. I want to thank Andrea Castleton and her staff. Here, it's a Frisbee, we'll just play with it. Thank you. But it looks so good. We like that there. I just want to thank Andrea Castleton and the entire staff and team that have been brought together on the Comet project. It will be amazing to see in the next few years the amount of money the City of St. Paul will save by investing up front on something that should have been done many, many years ago. We continue to make investments in the things that will shape the future of the City of St. Paul. Investments that allow us to turn the page from managing scarcity to generating economic growth. Construction is all but underway on the Central Corridor, which is the largest economic development opportunity in the history of the City of St. Paul. But I want to take just a minute to remind us that the business owners along the corridor, as well as residents in the neighborhoods affected by light rail transit, are a little nervous about the next few years. In particular, as we move forward, I want to recognize that the small businesses along the corridor are the largest source of employment in the City of St. Paul. We must treat them with the same respect that our largest companies deserve. Just as they have invested in St. Paul, we will invest in them by providing funding for beautification along the corridor and by working with Councilmembers Stark and Carter on new funding for parking mitigation. These investments are but a down payment. They are a step forward to a commitment to stand by every community along the corridor. While our engineers will do everything they can to reduce the impact of construction on these businesses, we all need to play a role in the support system for these businesses. I personally have adopted Little Szechuan and Nagan as my personal projects to keep those two businesses open. So I want you to join with me to grab someone and go out to lunch along the corridor. Take your family and go to dinner. See if you can do all of your shopping along some of our ethnic markets along the corridor. But when you're there, tell them that you will be back and you will support them through the course of that construction process. These businesses are important to the future of the City of St. Paul. Let's all step up and make sure that we support them. We'll continue to make investments in our most fragile neighborhoods, particularly those on the east side. We're layering public and private resources in ways that reinforce our goal of building and sustaining a middle class among those who already live in these neighborhoods. The Planning and Economic Development Department recently submitted a $47 million grant application to Housing and Urban Development to do community development throughout our city. The Port Authority is leading the effort to put the 3M site back to use as a major employment center for neighborhoods and those who live in the communities around that site. Our goal for Invest St. Paul is to generate confidence among private investors, whether they are families buying their first home or entrepreneurs starting a business. We will do everything that we can to strengthen the east side. Today, I'm recommending that $8 million from the Invest St. Paul bond proceeds be devoted to building a combined recreation center and library at the corner of Payne and Maryland. Now, I know I wasn't going to do this, but Councilmember Bostrom asked, could you just please call it the Herbie Brooks Miracle Center? We'll talk. We'll talk. You know, we've seen in the Rondo Library and we have seen in the Jimmy Lee Rec Center the power of these incredible places to transform lives. These places are changing the future for our children. So that's why we're moving full speed ahead to build this important project with partnerships throughout our community. The new Herbie Brooks Miracle Center, asterisk, will build confidence in that community by supporting the educational achievement and college access, connecting people with jobs and business opportunities, and building a sense of shared prosperity in the community. I want to thank Councilmember Bostrom for keeping that vision alive and his incredible work on behalf of one of St. Paul's great neighborhoods. St. Paul is at a crossroads. There's nothing theoretical or academic about the challenges before us. Making tough choices isn't just a slogan. It's a response to the things that I hear in the community every day. It's a response to the young firefighter who had just returned from serving his country in Iraq. He had just had a baby, bought his first house, and got his dream job in the St. Paul Fire Department. But when he heard that there were potential layoffs, he became very worried about the future for himself and for his family. The work that we do is a reflection of the moms and dads that I talk to, whose children have been impacted by the scholarship program that we have provided for early childhood educational opportunities. And the work that we do is a reflection and a response to the young people who cram our homework centers every night, hoping to be the first child in their family to go to college. These are the stories of St. Paul's future. The hopes of these families and these children rest with each of us to do right by them. We know that we can make a difference for them. Sir Isaac Newton established that an object in motion will continue to move in the same direction unless it is met with an opposing force. There have been many objects coming at us from all directions that have threatened the future of the city of St. Paul. But there is no greater force to oppose those than all of us who love this city and will do everything we can to fight for it. Together, we will fight those forces that threaten us. The power of community will win out over those things that divide us. Just as we have for the last 3 years, we will overcome the challenges put before us. We will lead our way back to prosperity. Working together, we will continue to build this incredible city of St. Paul. Thank you very much. Motel.